hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, please, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hello? Sakemi, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Good. Can we start? I'm waiting for you. Should we start? Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, it was just sorry for the delay. It's just the network a little bit. So I will be discussing about the benefit of health insurance and sickle cell management today. But before we do this, why is health insurance important for sickle cell disease patients and the caregiver? So let's just establish a little bit of introduction in that aspect. To understand that Nigeria has a very high prevalence of sickle cell diseases. It's on record that annually 150,000 children are born with sickle cell in Nigeria, and the mortality rate is 5%, and the under 5 mortality is 8%. And the under 5 mortality is 8%. We also look at it that when we compare that value, that figure, when you compare it with nations that have high income, like Europe and some other part of the world, we discover that there's a little bit of difference between ours and them. In our home, out of the 150 children that are given birth to annually in Nigeria, record shows us that 80% of them died before their 5th birthday. 80% of them died before their 5th birthday. That is why the life expectancy ratio of a sickle cell disease patient in Nigeria is extremely low. Whereas in nations that have high income, we discovered that the life expectancy ratio in that area is about 51 years and above. So what is really responsible for this? It's been discovered that a lot of these children died as a result of lack of quality healthcare. A lot of them died. Most of their death is as a result of their complication, and these complications arises basically because of because they lack good quality healthcare. As a result of this, that was why we also discovered that in nation that has very high life expectancy ratio for their sickle cell patients, what do they do different from ours? We discovered that there seems to be they've reduced out-of-pocket expenditure to the barest minimum. The out-of-pocket expenditure is minimal, so you discover that the vast majority of them there lives on health insurance. So when you look at it from this part of the world, we know that the health insurance is not really that vast yet in Nigeria. We've not been able to cover a very good percentage of our people, and this has been one of the major causes of this problem. So there are different kinds of health insurance you can use as a sickle cell diseases patient and as a sickle cell diseases caregiver. You can make use of the private health insurance. But for the private health insurance, the major issue with private health insurance is their premium. Their premium is dependent on your classification. You could be at the probably maybe low risk, intermediate risk, and high risk. And sickle cell warrior basically are classified as high risk. And the reason for this classification is because of the frequent hospitalization. So by the time you look at the premium from this private health insurance, most of the caregivers may not be able to afford it unless if that person comes from a privileged background. And it's been discovered also that most of the mortality that is recorded in these programs, they are from the not to do well family. That is why it is. So in order to solve this problem, so we discovered that it's better for a sickle cell patient and their caregiver to key into social health insurance. Social health insurance is the best insurance they can actually use. And the reason for this is simple. For social health insurance, it is premised on the fact that everybody cannot be sick at the same time. So it is all about everybody, both the sick and the non-sick, contributing a token into a common pool to take care of the healthcare needs of the few that is sick. That is just the basic principle of health insurance, of social health insurance. And also, we also discovered that from the catastrophic health expenditure that is affecting most family of sickle cell warriors is due to the out-of-pocket payment for almost all their health needs. So for social health insurance, why social health insurance is also very important for them is because for social health insurance, NHIS already have a very large pool, close to 30 million people. They have a very large pool in their social health insurance. So bringing in sickle cell warriors they are not going to be classified as adverse selection. They are not going to be classified as adverse selection. So they will be able to make use of that health insurance for their needs. And also, you also look at the benefit package of any health insurance plan you want to use. What are the benefit package of this health insurance you want to use? For private health insurance, for benefit packages that will be comprehensive enough to manage any complication that may arise from sickle cell diseases and at that frequent rate of hospitalization, the premium is going to be expensive. It's going to be beyond the average reach of an average Nigerian, and the purpose will become defeated because the main purpose of trying to introduce health insurance for sickle cell warrior is because we want the mortality rate to be reduced drastically, because this is something that has been done in other nations. Studies have been records have been keeping, and a lot of studies have been done in this regard. And also in Nigeria, it's been piloted. We've had some sickle cell warriors that are under health insurance. I mean, this social health insurance under NHIE, and the result has been good because you discover that the amount of money they pay per annum per the premium is minimal compared to the benefits they are deriving from the program. And also the, we are it's going to be good for this program if we approach it from a different angle rather than everybody, because it is assumed that if everyone cannot afford to pay for their premium, there are other plans, like there are other plans that they can use, just like what Auntie Kemi has been doing in Ondo State for basic health care provision fund for the families that are unable to pay for their health insurance premium. I mean, the most vulnerable among the caregivers, their children can actually key in into the basic health care provision fund, into the basic health care provision program, and get free health insurance. And also, there's also another program we call Gift Shift. It simply means Group Individual Family Social Health Insurance Program. For Gift Shift C, there's a Gift Shift C. We call it Gift Shift Constituency. What this Gift Shift Constituency simply means basically is it is designed basically for legislature and public office holders in Nigeria. Or it works basically based on the principle of adoption. They are to buy health insurance package for people in their constituency. And a lot of people have been doing that. We did that recently. Honorable Makinde in Ondo Town did one recently. He bought health insurance package for about 2,000 members of his constituency. So what we are trying to do now is, if peradventure, we at NHIA in Ondo State is going to partner with Ignite Sickle Cell, so that any time around that anybody is doing leadership constituency, they will be able to nominate people. They'll be able to nominate sickle cell warriors under their registration form, this free health insurance program. And also, if you want to buy gift ship for yourself, I think the premium is about 22,000 per annum. 22,000 per annum is minimal enough for people to be able to afford. Prior to now, it used to be 15,000, but due to the high cost of things, the price has been reviewed recently. So, and that 22,000 is going to last you for 1 year. The 22,000 will last you for 1 year, so that all your health expenses, because we also discovered that one of the reasons for high mortality rate in sickle cell patients is also malnutrition is also one of the major problems. And the reason why malnutrition is one of the major problems is the family normally forego essential items at home in order to be able to pay for the healthcare needs of their children. So in order to prevent all this, it is better for a sickle cell caregiver to insure their children under health insurance. Though there has been some drawback in NHIS, some facilities might tell you, okay, drugs are not available, but the organization has been undergoing some reorganization recently, and all these problems have been factored in and solutions have been proffered. And solution has been proffered. If you go to any facilities today, if you are unable to get your medication as I told you, there are numbers there that you can contact immediately, and you'll be able to get all your medications there. And also, we also discovered that in order for sickle cell caregiver, in order for them not to bear the burden of this galloping inflation that is happening on drugs and every other health commodities in Nigeria, health insurance is the only way we can actually limit this galloping inflation effect on the finances of caregivers generally in Nigeria. Hello? Hello, if you can still hear me, let me continue. Hello? Okay. Also, we also discovered recently that sickle cell patients more often than not need specialized medical services from hematologists and some other specialists in the facilities. If you are going to do it out of pocket expenditure for you to see a specialist in most of our facilities today in Nigeria, that is going to cost you a lot. But the benefit package for and it's still going for the premium of that 22,000 naira that I said earlier on. Once the 22,000 naira is paid, you will get all this benefit package. And also, if you are unable to pay, that is the aspect really want to emphasize on. If you are unable to pay, please, you need to contact Auntie Kemi. We already have a plan in place to bring in families that are unable to pay for their health insurance under this program. Thank you. Any questions? Oh, okay.
Fam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so we have two questions now. And then the question is, can the money be paid instrumentally?
No, the money cannot be paid instrumentally. But what we advise is maybe for like an organization like yours, you can collect the money instrumentally for them. So once the money is complete, you can easily pay directly from your at your convenience. So you can just your organization can act like the middleman. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say. They can pay
Yes,
the
yes, I can
instrumental. They can
understand.
pay. Okay, they can pay instrumentally to you. Then once the money is complete, yeah, the one is just via remitter payment. You're not paying to anybody. So once the money is complete, all you need to do is they will just generate a remitter code for you. Then you pay on their behalf. And also,
Okay. So the second
like I was
question
saying,
is,
okay, I wanted to say something
which of the
for
package is
those.
advisable, please?
I think the social health insurance package is advisable because I don't think there's any, why I was saying it, the nature of sickle cell diseases is a chronic illness. Chronic illness basically are
Mm,
classified as high risk under private health insurance. And due
yes,
to the
yes.
frequent hospitalization and this thing, I don't think their premium will be less than 300,000 to 400,000 naira per annum. And if you are charging somebody 300,000 to 400,000 naira per annum, how many people can actually afford that annually? Which simply means the mortality rate we are trying to bring down is still going to remain high. But for 22,000 naira, I think that is more affordable. And also for those people that cannot afford the 22,000, there are agencies, there are organizations. We are also trying to drive this gift ship constituency by making sure that some of these public office holder, because the federal government has given them that slot and the money is being paid to them. So what we are trying to do now is if we can get like a 50 slot and get in touch with someone like you, maybe for those people that that cannot afford it themselves, there's already a plan in place for them. And thank God for a good organization like you now that you can always act in between. So what we are trying to do now is even for those that cannot afford it, there's still going to be a way out. Why for those that can afford it, if you can also pay for more than one person. If you are financially brilliant, 66,000 is not really that big. There are also some religious organizations that have also contacted us. So I think subsequently what we'll be doing is once they come around like that, we get in touch with your organization so that you help us locate families that are financially handicapped that cannot afford it so that you just help us get to this. We just bring them in via the free route.
Okay. So I think the last question: how can people in Lagos benefit from this NHIS, please?
Okay, NHIS, there's an NHIS office in Lagos. We have two NHIS offices in Lagos. There's one office in Ikeja. There's also another one in Yaba. But however, registration, you may not necessarily need to register in Lagos. The registration can be done anywhere. And the beauty part of it, the beauty part of NHIS is you can make use of any accredited NHIS hospital nationwide. Even if peradventure, let's say you are registered in Ondo State, I mean you are registered in Lagos, and there's a need for probably maybe you travel to places like maybe Abuja, and there's an emergency need for you to access healthcare. All you need to do is with your ID card, you go to the nearest any NHIS accredited hospital to you. They will contact your HMO and you'll be treated for free. Why I made mention of HMO, in this world is NHIS uses HMO like a third party administrator between them and the facility. So you can register in Lagos. Even people can actually register in Ondo State and pick a facility. What we advise is, if you want to pick an hospital that is closest to you. There's no sense in it that if you registered in Ondo State, if you are living in Lagos, you register in Ondo State and you pick a facility. No. If you registered in Ondo State, the registration covers nationwide. You can also do the registration in Lagos. All they need to do is just to go to our offices,
So we
or
are back.
if they are unable to go to our offices, they can contact you. You can do the registration on their behalf, and they will now pick an hospital that is closest to them. Please, there's much emphasis on that because we don't really want, because for the case of emergency, we don't usually advise enrollees to travel that far. It's better for you to go to an hospital that is closest to you. And if peradventure, if you go to an hospital that is closest to you, if the cases is secondary or tertiary case that is beyond the capacity of that hospital, the hospital will first of all give you the primary services, do the normal stabilization, then refer you to a tertiary facilities. And the good news is every NHIS, all the distance are under distance. Okay, there's a question
Okay,
here.
thank you.
Maybe
Yes.
okay, but anyway, that someone once told me that only those that work under government that can use it. How true is this? No, the thing is, when they started NHIS, when NHIS started, their former sector program, they started first with federal government workers. But ever since that time, the program has been extended to every other every other citizens of Nigeria. Even in 2022, the then President Muhammadu Buhari signed the new NHI Act. Health insurance is now mandatory in Nigeria. It's just that they are still putting mechanism in place in order to drive it. And the good part of it is they are making use of the same benefit package. Both the person in the informal sector, those working with government, and even those that are coming in through gift, they are making use of the same benefit package.
Okay. So I feel that you've answered all the questions. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
You're welcome. We'll be contacting you for those one. I'll call you later on so that we have an arrangement on ground regarding
Okay.
the families that
Okay.
cannot afford it. Please, for those of them that cannot afford it, they should contact you so that you act as the liaison person, so that at least we'll be able to cover and reduce the mortality rate, most especially the under 5 mortality rate of sickle cell diseases in
All
Nigeria.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, someone to describe this session. If you are listening to me, one word to describe this session. This is a powerful session. So we have our new guest in the house. The person, yes, we have somebody in the house, and that person is Audrey. Audrey is actually a friend, a sister. My, in fact, there's so much word to use to describe Audrey. Audrey is the founder of Audrey Sickle Cell Foundation, a sickle cell warrior herself, a sickle cell genetic counselor, and Audrey has done a lot of work when it comes to sickle cell. If you are in Delta State, if you are in Edo State, you are in Port Harcourt, and you need somebody to attend to you as someone living with sickle cell, Audrey is that person that can attend to you. So Audrey is doing amazing work in the sickle cell community. Audrey, thank you so much. Thank you for coming here. I really appreciate you. Thank you for the honor. So I think the floor is yours. Let me be in the background.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Audrey Mukoro, like Kemi has said, and I've been given a topic to talk on. I think she made mention of talking about identity, um, living with sickle cell disorder. I'm sorry, I just rounded off my clinic now, and I'm still in the premises. We're trying to round off. That's why you're hearing some noise at the background. Today was the last clinic we had for the year, so I'm sorry if you are a bit distracted. Yeah, so I think I would want to say, first of all, as a sickle cell warrior, and from the experiences we've had over time in dealing with other sickle cell warriors, we always tell parents, of course, it is not our fault that it is, we're better with sickle cell, but there is always this guilt that parents feel because they've made a mistake, or they feel that they've come out, their children are living with sickle cell disorder. We try to tell parents life happens to everyone, and it is how you relate or how you see the things that you're dealing with, or whatever complications or ill health your warrior is dealing with. But then again, we also want to say that parents should not start feeling guilty or wanting to always say their warriors are different. Yes, we are made differently, but we have a whole lot that we can do. Warriors are smart people, and we focus more on the positive part of our health and the things that we can do. So to make sure that we're on the right track. Yes, it is challenging living with sickle cell disorder. That's a fact, and but that's not who we are. We have a life beyond sickle cell. So if sickle cell is part of us, that's not the entirety of who we are as a person. There are other various aspects of our lives that we're doing very well, which we'll keep doing very well if you keep projecting positive definitions on your child as a sickle cell warrior. Now, imagine the founder of this program that we're having now, if her parents were treating her the way parents do treat their warriors, in terms of hiding them, not wanting them to mingle with people, or believing in things that people have said about them. I'm not sure we'll be here having this conversation. But because her parents have handled her differently, she's able to come out, even without her parents, she's able to do stuff on her own. And you can tell from the things that she has done, the number of lives she has touched. That's because they didn't hide her, they didn't keep her, they didn't restrict her because she has a health disorder. A disorder is just a part of us. It's not what we live for. It's not who we are, basically. There are other things we could do. We could live life to the fullest. So as a warrior, we usually tell and counselors, we usually say, parents should stop feeling guilty, stop beating yourself. It has happened, it has happened. What's the way forward? How do you handle it going forward? What do you do? How do you make sure your child, is able to face life when you are not there? How you can do that? There are certain things we tell warriors in our community, warrior parents in our community to do. And even online during our counseling, we say, first of all, as a parent, first of all, purge yourself of that guilt first. Yes, it has happened, but life goes on. Purge yourself of the guilt you're feeling, and no matter what happens, no matter what comes, what comes to play, always speak positively to your child. All right, speak positively to your child. Make your child know that they have a life beyond sickle cell. They have things that they can do beyond living with sickle cell. They can attain any heights they want to attain. So they have an identity outside of sickle cell. They have a positive identity outside of sickle cell. They can attain any heights they want to attain if they are the ones who want to be educated, who want to go to school. See them to any length, encourage them, support them. We have warriors today that are doctors, medical doctors. We have warriors that are in various fields academically, and they are doing so well. Yes, there's a time where they will fall sick. You nurse your wounds, get better, and move on with life. There's so much life besides living with sickle cell. So it is what you say, the positive projections you put on your child as a person is what the child will use when you are not there. If you have a warrior, 1, 2, 3, or a family friend, and you say, oh, because this warrior has this issue, and you want to project that fear on your own warrior. Warriors are different. We don't have, our symptoms may be similar, but we have our crises and issues differently. So you don't project the definitions you've read from someone else on your child. Give your child room to fly. Allow them room to fly. Let them, be opportune to do the things that their mates are doing at the time it's needed to. It makes it even much easier when they see that you are encouraging and supporting them. There's nothing out there that they will face and not feel the love they have at home. with that, the child will come out well, and you will see that it's not just about the health thing. It's not just about it, and that's not the entirety of who we are. We live our lives beyond the sickle cell. So if you are continually speaking positively to your child, there's every tendency that the child will be able to face whatever is coming out there. Of course, there's a lot of discrimination outside. There's a lot of issue stigmatization outside. But it's how confident you are able to, build your child's self-esteem. That's how they are going to handle the world out there. The world is a tough place, whether for a warrior or for someone who is not even a warrior. The world is tough out there. So we keep insisting and keep saying that speak, positively into your child's life and support them as much as possible to make sure that they have all the support and care at home. Then whatever is coming out from the outside world, they'll be able to face it and, move on without getting depressed. Yes, people feel is a whole lot. Depression comes in, but with the love and support and care, and also timely awareness and timely medication, timely interference, medical help, everything will work out smoothly, and that child will come out well. That's the work we're doing, right? And so, because we've been able to build ourselves to an extent, that's why we can face whatever comes to us. We didn't just start here where we are now. We built ourselves to this extent. So you can also do that for your child, and of course, the child will come out a success. Please tell me, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please, if there's any more thing I need to talk about, can you drop it here or mention it so I'll talk about it?
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Please go on with your class.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go on. We are enjoying the class.
So,
I will just put
okay.
your topic in the comment section.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
I said the topic, I will drop it in the comment section.
Okay. Let me know when you drop the question, because I can't see any question in the comment section. I think something I would have loved to add before now was the fact that parents, we like to be very overprotective about our children, especially the ones that have sickle cell warrior, which was also a topic we talked about today in our clinic. Now, because your child has sickle cell, that's not enough room not to want to train the child on how to be independent for themselves. Of course, you cannot be with your child at every point in time. They will go to school, they will go to church without you there, and it's how you are able to make them, well trained, or how you are able to make them independent. That's how they will live by when you are not there. So please, as parents, we should try to limit saying, oh, because our children are warriors, we don't want them to do this, we don't want them to do that. Allow them to do what they need to do. Whether they are playing, allow them play. All you can do is to just give a time limit and know what works for your child. Tell them the result that comes out with being disobedient. Tell them the result that comes out with not putting their health into consideration. Tell them what it means when they put their health first and try to do what they are supposed to do, even when you are not there. It makes them, self-reliant. So that when you are not there, they'll be able to stand up for themselves and do the things they need to do to take care of themselves. So if you keep saying, oh, because you're making excuses for them because they have sickle cell, you don't want them to learn how to cook or learn how to be domesticated at home, in the long run, they'll become a liability to people in that family. They'll become a liability to the society in general. Of course, you are not going to be there with them all the days of their life. So at some point in time, they will grow into teenage or adults, young adults, and go to school, maybe far away from home. Then, if they are not self-reliant, how do they then cope with the outside world? So we try to tell parents, find a balance. Make sure your children are well domesticated at home. Do what you need to do. Engage them in different chores to make sure that they are doing the little, they are contributing something, no matter how little, to what is happening in the family. So they feel this sense of responsibility at every given point in time. They are able to handle themselves and know what to do, even when you are not there as a parent. So that's something we also like to tell parents to warriors, because it's going to help them in the long run in becoming better managed adults or responsible adults. So I'm still waiting. To see the questions you have, or if there's a point I have not touched, I think you can mention it in the comment section.
Please, if you have questions, can we drop our questions so that she can attend to those questions before she leaves? Please let us drop our questions as soon as possible. Just drop it in the comment section. We are going to bring it up.
So while we're waiting for the questions, I could also drop a thing or two about myself. So I knew that as I was growing up as a child, it got to a point, my parents, of course, my parents were very educated, so they allowed me to go through life alone. Though they were there at the times I was down, but certain times when I'm stable, starting from my primary education, I knew that my dad would say, I'm only going to give you money. You're going to your school to make sure you do your first living certificate registration. And he did that for me. Like, he gave me the money and I went ahead to do that registration myself. I also did that for my JS3 exam. I also did that for my WAEC exam. And that's how I lived till I graduated university. I'm very sure that my parents did not have any reason to come to school, to come and register me in school, because they had already taught me from a very young age what to do and how to manage myself in their absence. So if you are able to do that, inculcate that in your child, it makes them self-reliant. They'll be able to do things without you being there at all times. So that's very important. That's something that we would always talk about, because warriors are So some of us tend to, just want to say we don't want to do anything because we live with physical disorder. But then that's not the right thing to do. When you are healthy, you're stable, do what you need to do, do what your mates are doing. If you want to learn a trade so you can have something to fall back to when your parents are no longer in the picture. So it is very important to encourage your warriors to, become independent people for themselves. At the end of the day, it is not just for you, it is also helping them in the long run. So that's something to keep talking about as parents, as counselors to parents. And before you can start doing all of this, before you can start speaking positively into your child, you have to forgive yourself first of all for making mistakes. Some persons do not even make the mistake. Nigeria happened to them. So it is not even their fault that, you know, what happened. But we are not here to start apportioning blame. We're here to say what's the way forward and how do we manage the situation regardless of whatever we find ourselves in. So I think that's about it for becoming self-reliant as a warrior.
Um, Thank you so much. Thank you so much for adding that extra thing. You know, when you live with sickle cell, there's a lot of parents that doesn't want their children to do anything. They just believe that there's a way they put us in that survival mode. They are just only expecting us to survive, you know. They just want you to just survive. As
Mm-hmm.
long as the child is living, as long as the child survive, then every other thing is okay. But then this child has other identity. This child wants to live beyond sickle cell. They want to do other things, you
Yeah.
know. In my work, I've met a lot of parents who their children want to go to university and it stopped them because they believe that they can't go to university. So it's a lot of work that both of us do, and then you know how we have to keep incorporating this into the mindset of the parents. And thank God that they are listening to you and they can hear from somebody else that it is important for us to build independent so that they can survive outside. They can thrive even when we are not
Even
available.
when you
So
are
if
not
you
there,
have any
yes, yes.
question, yes, if you have question, you have to drop your question. If not, then you will have to maybe bring in. But yeah, the second speaker is
So
here today. Here, if you have any question, please ask your question in the comment section while we are still on it. And there's something about this PT. There's a reason. There's something about PT. I really want you to
I just wanted to
expatiate
talk
more.
about that. Yes.
Yes.
So as a warrior parent, you would always want to have pity for your child. And even when the child is capable of doing something, you want to say, "Hmm, let me just help the child do this thing." If your child, who is a warrior, goes breaks the rule in your house, you can decide, of course, you would want to say because the child is a warrior, you may not even touch the child, or you may not discipline the child. You're already feeling pity. We don't, as warriors, we don't even need you to start feeling pity for us. You can show us empathy and say, okay, I'm sorry you're going through this, encourage us to, but don't make it look like, oh, you're a warrior, you can't do this. Don't even start putting them down before they even put themselves down. Already there's that factor there that there's every tendency to want to put a warrior down or they want to feel pity party for the person. But it doesn't help in the long run. You can only be empathic, you can only put yourself in the person's shoes and say, I'm sorry, I wish I could help, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that, you know. But feeling, pity or projecting pity party on them, it's not encouraging. It makes the warrior want to, lag behind more and not even take responsibility for whatever actions, they have crossed. So I think that as a parent warrior, if your warrior should go the wrong route, you can correct in love. There's a way you make corrections. Of course, if they are stable and it's something you need to put them in, give them a mild punishment to make them know that, okay, this thing they did was actually wrong, you do it. It helps in correcting them, it helps in straightening them. You may actually think that you're being too hard. Of course, there are other mild punishments that you can give. And yes, when they are in certain situations, all you can do is putting yourself in their shoes, but not feeling or showing pity party. It doesn't really go well. It makes warriors who are not even determined to just want to say, after all, my parents are dead, they will do everything for me. But forgetting that these people will leave your comfort zone at some point in their life, and they will face the harsh world out there. So if you go to a place of work and you apply for a particular position, nobody will say because you're a warrior they will give you extra attention. As a matter of fact, because you are even a warrior, they will want to even take the job away from you. But if you know your rights, if you know what you're supposed to do as a person living with disability or sickle cell disorder, you should be able to stand up for yourself and say, I am qualified for XYZ position, and I think it's something I can do. So I don't see any reasons why you want to withhold such position from me because I'm qualified for it. So quit doing pity party, quit saying, oh, because they are warriors, we don't punish them. Oh, because they are warriors, we don't do this, we don't do that. Please train them. Of course, you can be mild with them, but let them feel that strictness at some point too, so they don't go out of the rules and regulations is made for them. There are certain things they should not do when you are around. Same as when you are not there, they should also not do those things. So it is really important to show empathy, but also make sure that you are being strict at some point in time. Make sure they don't go out of the rules and regulations you place or put down in your family. I think I have touched a bit of the pity party stuff and showing empathy as a parent to a warrior.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Audrey. And I'm very sure a lot of our
Thanks
parents,
for
they've actually taken all this lesson. They've understand that there's a need for them to see people living with sickle cell beyond their sickness. Thank you
yeah.
so much. Yes. Balogolajide said you are super good. Yes, so that's a compliment for you.
Thank
You
you.
are super good.
Thank you.
Yes, it's
Thank you so
amazing.
much. Thank you.
And
I
you
get
know
that
that.
a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. You know you are amazing. So I'm saying this
Yeah.
in front of the
Thank
whole
you.
world now. You are amazing.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much for
Thank
the
you.
honor. Thank you. If you have any other question you might decide to ask me, then I'm going to get the answer from Audrey to everybody. So thank you so much. I think we have a new speaker in the house. Yeah. So thank you so much. And thank you for the honor. We really appreciate you. One word. Is there any final word you have to drop for the audience?
Oh, okay. Final words to the parents and even the warriors, if they are warriors here. I think that you shouldn't let your condition define you. Make the best out of your situation. Do the things that even the other ordinary person cannot do. So that alone builds your confidence. Engage in things that you feel that will make your confidence increase. So if you know you like cooking, focus on it and make a skill out of it. If you know you want to be a trader, focus on it and make a living out of it. When you are down, focus on nursing your health and getting better. And when you are better, focus on what makes money for you because living with sickle cell, you have to have money to be able to live comfortably and even take care of yourself as a person living with sickle cell disorder. So don't let the sickle cell thing take you down. Don't have negative thoughts. Put a lot of positivity into yourself, and I'm sure you'll be able to conquer anything that's out there. Thank you guys for having me. I think I have to take my leave now. I'm packed out. I want to go home and
Thank
rest.
you so much for that final word. It made a lot of sense. Thank you so much. And
Thank
then
you.
One word to describe this Audrey session. One word to describe Audrey's session. One word. Thank you so much. So we have another guest in the house, and then this is one of the person we are looking for. Yes, we are looking forward to. There's something about parenting a child with sickle cell. Yes, there's something about parenting with a child with sickle cell. When we as parents, when we are raising a children or child that live with sickle cell, we often forget about ourselves. Many of us, we don't want to talk about it, but today we are going to talk about self-care as a parent with a child with sickle cell. We often feel that it's not important. I understand the child is not feeling fine. I understand you are trying to protect crisis, you are trying to prevent every other thing, but what about you? When you are not okay, yesterday Coach Nuru said something about when you are not emotional stable, when you are not putting care into yourself, you are not you are not fit to raise a child with sickle cell, because raising a child with sickle cell takes a lot. It takes finances, it takes emotions, it takes physical aspect. See, you need to be mentally balanced to actually raise a child with sickle cell. So today, join me as I bring in a psychologist. This is someone who is a clinical psychologist. He has a master's in clinical psychology. Someone who has been practicing, who has worked with a lot of sickle cell warriors, people, parents who have a child with sickle cell warriors, and other people. At the same time, she also lives with sickle cell. So this is somebody that understands exactly what it is to have a child. Sure, you understand? To have a child with sickle cell, and also understand what it is, what our parents actually go through when they have a child with sickle cell. So join me as I welcome in Miss Elizabeth. Miss Elizabeth Jaye Ola. Miss Elizabeth
Thank
is
you very
a
much.
oh, you can't hear anything. Please, if you can hear me, please say loud and clear in the comment section. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please write loud and clear in the comment section. Okay, let me see what I can do. Can you hear me now? Okay, loud and clear. Abimbola Mary, can you hear me now, please? Yes. So I said we have with me Miss Elizabeth Jayola is a clinical psychologist, somebody who has a master in clinical psychology, who has worked with a lot of people living with sickle cell and parents of children living with sickle cell. So, when it comes to raising a child with sickle cell, we often neglect ourselves as parents because we are more focused on the child. Sometimes we even neglect other people. We are more focused on that child. We are always thinking about the child, the child, the child. But if you are not taking in self-care, if you are not taking care of you, you will not be in a right mental state to raise a child with sickle cell, because a child with sickle cell takes a lot from you. So they demand your emotional availability, they demand finances, they demand physical availability. So how do you combine all this without losing your mind? That is exactly why we have Miss Elizabeth Jaye Ola with us here. I think I'm going to leave the stage for you, and then I'm going to be at the backstage. Welcome, Ma. Thank you so much for the honor.
Thank you,
The
ma.
stage is yours.
Thank you very much, ma. I hope everybody can hear me speak. Hope you can hear me speak. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me before I go on.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please, if you can
Good
hear,
evening,
can we
everyone.
say loud and clear in the comment section?
Yes, please, can I go on? I hope everybody can hear me. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of this conference. And I know that everything we are going to gain here will be useful for us in our parenting journey. Can you hear me so I can go on? So, the topic I have before me is on parental self care and emotional regulation. It's like two things coming together, but I will try to balance everything. So, we are looking at parenting now. Parenting can be very exciting, like we know, and very rewarding, yes, but it comes with its own challenges too. And these challenges at times can be daunting, can be overwhelming, all the same. So these challenges in one way or the other will lead to stress. Stress is our everyday life, what we go through, the challenges we go through in everyday life and how we respond to them. So they could lead to symptoms of burnout, feeling very exhausted after very much hard work and feelings of fatigue, feeling disconnected from yourself or disconnected from other people. So parenting a child now, parenting on its own is challenging. Now, parenting a child that has a special need, like a child with SCD, brings with it additional responsibility. You have double on your bow, not like parenting a child without any illness or any special needs. It brings double on your bow, and then it takes a toll on the parent's emotional health as well. Apart from your finances, apart from your physical presence, you have to be there. Apart from it takes a toll on almost every aspect of your life if care is not taken. And then as it's taking its toll on your life also, it's also taking its own toll on the child too, and is affecting them emotionally. Takes its toll on the emotions of the parents. It also takes its toll on the emotions of the child. So directly or indirectly, both parent and child or the caregiver, they are in this journey together. So now we want to look at parental care, parental self-care. Now, as we are taking care of a child that is sick, going to the hospital, buying this, buying that, running up and down, making sure, even when they are not in crisis, making sure that they are warm, they are well covered, they are protected, making sure that they are following their treatment regimen, they are following the drugs, the routine drugs that they take every time. This will take its own toll on you also physically and even on your health. So, parental self care now is the practice of taking care, taking actions, deciding that you also want to preserve and improve your own health. In the western part of Nigeria, I know they have an adage that says it's the person that is taking care of the one that is sick that is actually sick. And I think I want to go on to agree with this adage because in the way in as you're taking care of somebody that is ill, we tend to forget that we also, our body is also, now our body also need care. Our bodies also need attention. Then it's going to take its toll on our health. It's going to take its toll on our emotions. It's going to take its toll on our body too. And then most people in Nigeria today, you have one health challenges you're trying to balance, and at the other. So parenting, parental self-care, or let me say self-care, is a practice of deciding to take actions on your own to preserve your health, not only about preserving it, to improve on your health also. As you're trying to preserve what you have, okay, you're trying to preserve my blood pressure mustn't go up, this and that. Then you also try to see, okay, what can I do to make sure that as I'm preserving it, it doesn't go up. I want to improve that it stays at the normal level it's supposed to be. I'm just citing that as an example anyway. So it's also a determination. Parental self-care is also determination to protect your well-being and your happiness, regardless of whatever you are going through, regardless of whatever is happening. Because if your well-being physically and emotionally is not protected, then there's no way you are going to take care of yourself. Then it also has to do with your happiness, the mood that you have, the emotions that you have. Now, parental self-care for parents or caregivers of SCD has to do with the time of stress, because it is easy for us to take care of ourselves when there's no stress, when you're not going through any burden, you don't have additional burden, you wake up, everything goes on, and then you go to work, then come back home. It's easy to take care of yourself. But the time that stress comes in, then you have to attend to a sick child, and if care is not taken, you may forget about yourself. So, in times of stress, self-care is very important in times of stress. And then, as you are trying to improve and preserve on your emotional and the physical well-being, you also use available information and resources and supports that you need. Support can come in terms of tangible support, it can be informational support, it can be social support, maybe somebody comes around to help you stay with the child. It can be emotional support, somebody just encourages you, try to just put your emotion in check and just encourage you to lift up the burden from your heart. So self-care is not about you only, it's about using the available resources that you have close to you. Although resources that we have within ourselves can vary from one person to another. Now, I want to go to the aspect of emotional health now. Our emotions, they can easily come to fore, they can come forward, they can easily be known in times of stress and distress. So, emotions are the conscious reactions that we have, and the strong feelings and the mental states that are associated with our thoughts, our behavior in response to an event. The event can be positive, it can be negative. So emotions are those conscious reactions. Oh, I'm happy, I just won the visa lottery. Oh, I'm okay, that's an emotion. So it has to do with the circumstances, because I got something I was looking for. Oh, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm joyful. Yeah. Oh, I fell in love with someone. Oh, the emotion you express there because of that event is love, and the circumstance. It can also be negative. Like examples of emotions that are associated with SCD is fear, is worry, is anxiety. We'll still get to that point. So emotions are the conscious reactions. At times, emotions can also become very unconscious for us. For example, because we have learned to be anxious, we have learned to be fearful. We have allowed those emotions, the negative emotions, to dwell in, to become part of us without us putting them in check. So anytime a child tends to be showing symptoms of a crisis coming up, it is possible for the parents to unconsciously and subjectively, because of our previous experiences and their judgments, bring these emotions, even without you knowing that, oh, I'm fearful. It comes in because it's learned. It's already, it has become part of us. So we don't even need to be conscious of it again. It comes unconscious, it becomes automatic. Anytime we see the child, even without the child having a crisis, we tend to be fearful. It has become automatic. It has become part of us. Emotions can also be like that. Then emotional health is part of our mental health, and has to do with our ability to identify positive and negative emotions. If you are experiencing the emotion, emotional health has to do with you understanding, okay, this is fear that is coming up, this is worry, oh, this is guilt, this is shame. I've listed the emotions. Okay, to identify, is this good for me? That's the negative. Is this good for me? That's the positive. Then is it good? Is it bad? The negative. And now to now develop the coping mechanism to address these negative emotions. That is what we call emotional health. Now, emotional health is also tied with our physical health. Mental health and physical health, they go pari passu. Then it's also tied with our ability to maintain stress in times where we are under stress of a child being ill, and then we have to take care, we have to balance it with our work, we have to balance it with family demands, we have to balance it with financial demands as well. So emotional regulation now is our ability to respond to or manage the emotional experiences in appropriate ways. Let me tell you something. Emotions will always come up in times of stress, in times of crisis. So our regulation now has to do with our inbuilt ability, the ability that we have built by ourselves. Is conscious that okay, if this happens, this is how I want to respond. This is how I want to manage my experiences in adaptable way. Meaning we are flexible with it. You don't say, okay, that was how I managed one yesterday. I want to stick to that. No, at times we may need to be flexible in our approaches to managing emotions. Then emotional dysregulation is being sensitive. Yes, we know that there's an emotion that is coming up. Yeah, we are aware. But we are so sensitive to it that even the triggers, before the emotions come up, once we notice there's a trigger, like the rain is falling, for example, the rain is falling, and then you are in your office, and then the trigger is the rain that is falling. You don't even know, maybe your child, let's say the child's name is Junior, maybe the child is not even feeling the rain cold at all in the school. But because of the rain may not even be falling in the school where the child is. But because the rain is falling, and you know that rain is associated with cold, it becomes a trigger. And then our dysregulation is our inability to manage the trigger very well. Like it kind of sort of reduces our ability to adapt, our ability to manage the emotional experiences. Like the trigger is there now. Okay, the rain is falling. You don't even know, maybe rain is falling in junior school. Maybe it's only in your office that the rain is falling, and then it comes as a trigger because we have learned to respond automatically to rain, associating it with cold, and then associating that cold with, oh, junior will definitely go down with crisis. So it's become sort of dysregulation for us. So the common emotions that are associated with parenting and caregiving for LCD. I want to mention the emotions and then explain how it affects you, how you can experience it. Just cite a little example, then we go on to the consequences and how we can regulate them. The first one I have here is fear, worry, and anxiety. I purposely grouped those ones together. Fear is just anticipation of danger. The danger has not happened, but you perceive in your thinking, oh, something dangerous is going to happen. Emotional trigger, the rain is falling. The rain is falling. So you've decided within you, you're not going to go down with the cold in school. Then that leads us to worry. Now, worry is the cognitive aspect of anxiety. Because you already have the fear. The fear, is it true or false? No, we can't say yet. It's just anticipating that the boy is just going to catch cold in school. It's just the anticipation. Now, worry will now tell you to appraise it negatively, to think about it. Oh, Chino will go down with cold. If he goes down with cold, he probably have a crisis. Then if he has a crisis, I'm going to spend my money. Then if you are not careful, it will go back and forth, back and forth. Then you start having some distortions in your thinking. You'll be tilting towards, you overthink, and then you tilt towards negative thinking. And then as it builds up gradually, it leads to anxiety. That is the intense and persistent fear and worry continuously. Then now you start experiencing some physiological reactions within your body, like sweating, your palpitation, and then fast breathing, and so on, like that. That's one of the fears that's associated with sickle cell disease, parenting sickle cell disease. A child can also experience the fear and worry and the anxiety. The second one I have here is shame. That's an uncomfortable feeling associated with negative self-evaluation. The parents can have shame, yes, for having a child with SAD, and then the child also can go down with shame, feeling ashamed. Shame has nothing to do with what you have done. In fact, I should take shame and guilt together. Now, guilt has to do with what you have done wrong, and then you passing the judgment on yourself. The what you feel there is guilt. But shame is based on uncomfortable feeling because you have negatively evaluated yourself. A parent can do that. Then the child can also do that because there's something we call mirroring, because we are cautious to these children, and then they model our behavior. We model behavior for them, then they copy us. Then there's something called mirroring. Two people, somebody is experiencing an emotion. If you focus very much on that person, it's possible, yes, you also experience that emotion. You start showing symptoms of that emotions. You start showing patterns of that emotion. So there is mirroring. So shame makes you feel uncomfortable because you have evaluated yourself in negative way, which is not necessarily true. Guilt is just deciding that you have done wrong, yes, but just passing the judgment on yourself that you have done wrong. Then we have anger. These are negative feelings or actions towards someone. At times anger can also be towards the self, but it's based on perceived wrongdoing. Okay, I've done myself wrong, somebody did me wrong. Example for shame, guilt, and anger now is, and self-doubt, yes. A parent, you were asked to do genotype testing before you got married, but you decided it's not necessary. Or probably you knew, but you still went ahead. Now, the child is here. It is possible that you start feeling guilty that, oh, I hope I had listened to what they told me. I won't be dealing with this problem now. Shame can arise because in our society, a lot of people, they don't understand this illness. Then societal perceptions, and then culture, and even religious biases against people that have one illness or the other can make people to evaluate themselves in negative way. Even the child can say, oh, why is it me that is always falling ill and things like that. So as the parent is experiencing the shame and the guilt and the anger, these two can easily lead you to getting angry because you perceive that you have done yourself wrong, or you perceive that, oh, it's the spouse, maybe it's my partner that lied, and then we find ourselves in this chaos, in this situation. So the anger can build up gradually from resentment, then it leads to shouting. So people do internalize, and then it can lead to displacement. The child is not guilty, fine, but in expressing our anger, we can shout on the child, or even displace, even not on the child now, we can displace our anger on other the siblings. We can displace our anger on the medical team in the hospital. We can any available objects that is near. It's possible we displace our anger on that. Then there's feelings of failure, of disappointment, or feeling that, oh, I have to spend all that I have all the time to get this child okay. And then the feelings keeps coming, disappointments, and then you know because of societal perspective about that we need the erroneous mindset that people have towards people with SCD, it can lead to you feeling embarrassed in the midst of people. I have personally have an encounter. I have personally have an experience with that until I learned to overcome these kinds of feelings. Then the depression, feeling worthless, hopeless, and feeling negative. Then the feelings of rejection is very much associated with SAD because the way that people portray the illness out there, they tend to put people that are sick down. Then they tell you, oh, you may die soon, and then people around the way they spread the information, gossip, and then they people that you just know, you didn't tell them, but you know from the way they deal and relate with you that um they are stigmatizing you. So it end up people want to move away from you, then you can somehow feel rejected. You can somehow feel insecure in the midst of people, that you go out and then people start withdrawing from you. Then it can also lead to feelings of insecurity. These are some of the emotions that are associated with sickle cell. Then parents can experience them, and the child can also experience them. Why? Because as parents, if we've not learned to take care of ourselves and to regulate our emotions, our children, adolescents, our teenagers, they can easily model, they can easily mirror the emotion. Now it spreads from parent to the child, or from the child to the parent. And that is where we have emotional dysregulation. That is where we know it becomes a bit difficult for us to be able to maintain our self-care in the midst of stress, in the midst of chaos. So how do we regulate these emotions? I've given an example. Oh, Junior is ill. Fear builds up gradually. Junior is not even ill now, but because fear has been building up, it has turned to worry, it has turned to anxiety. And then the way we respond to it is not regulated. Instead of asking ourselves, okay, if Junior is in school and the rain is falling, what can I do? Instead of appraising the situation negatively, thinking back and forth, and then allowing the negative thoughts to take over, why not ask yourself, what can I do? Should I call junior school, speak with the teacher, and ask them, how's the boy feeling? Okay, if he's feeling fine, can you just help me to put on the cardigan for him so that it doesn't go down with cold? Even for teenagers that you are a little independent of yourself, your parents are not there. If the rain is falling, for example, and then you, instead of going down with the thought, oh, I'll go down with crisis again, you can have your anxiety in something we call anticipatory. As the rain is falling, you quickly take care of yourself, cover yourself, make sure the rain doesn't fall on you, the sun doesn't beat you, and the likes. Those are very few ways of regulating the emotion. Because these negative emotions will always come, the shame will come. How would you manage it? You don't need to be ashamed because you have STD. You don't need to be guilty, even if you are guilty. If the parent is guilty and the child is suffering, there's something we call self-compassion. You show yourself mercy that you are showing other people. Forgive yourself for what you've done. Because if you dwell on this emotion of guilt and shame for very long, there's no way you'll be able to take care of yourself. There's no way you'll be able to take care of the child. So I want to also move to regulating emotions, tips that we can use to regulate our emotions as caregivers of children with SCD. By regulating our emotions, is also part of self-care. Yes, emotion regulation is also part of self-care, because when you regulate your emotion, the mental burden is reduced, if not totally gone. Then you can concentrate on the physical aspect that you can do, like sleep, like diet. Because if your mind is not at rest, there's no way you can sleep soundfully. So the first step to regulating emotion is love and acceptance. Love yourself. Love is also important in self-care. Love yourself, accept yourself. As parents, accept yourself as a parent of the child. There's nothing you can do about it presently. The only thing you can do about it is to accept and then take care. You can't send the child away. You can't kill it's not possible. You can't kill the child. So the first step is to deal with them with love. Then love yourself. Self-love is not a sin. Self-compassion is not a sin. Compassion is showing yourself kindness and care in the face of criticism, in the face of challenges and hardship. Accepting is not being passive about it. You can be active with acceptance. Being active means you accept that, oh, this is the situation on ground. This is how I'm planning to address it. This is what I want to do to make sure the negative situation doesn't affect me. There's passive aggression, passive acceptance. You accept, okay, you just accept. You accept without taking responsibility. That is passive. You accept, okay, I've accepted. But you don't take responsibility for your well-being. That is passive. You don't take responsibility for the child's well-being. That is passive. Acceptance must be active. So you show yourself love, acceptance, and self-compassion. So when we are showing love now, I want to mention something. When we are showing love, let's not overindulge our kids, our words, because it's possible that we become permissive in our parenting for children with SCD. So if you are permissive, it tends to like overindulge. We tend to like allow them to do things that can even harm them because we don't want to say no to them. Let your yes be yes to them and let your no's be firm. Then discuss with them, hold communication with them, ask them their opinion. By doing that, you are also building their self-esteem up. You are building their self-reliance up. So that regardless of the illness, they know that the illness does not define them. They know that they can manage. Then the love that we show ourselves, we go a long way in ensuring that we take care of ourselves. If you don't love yourself, there's no way you take care of yourself. That is when, as you're taking care of the child that's sick, you forget about yourself. No, you must love yourself. All discussions with them, communicate. Then the next one is mindful self-awareness. Be aware of yourself. Self-awareness has to do with knowing what we are becoming, who we are becoming. Being very sure that because of the negative emotions that we have mentioned, that we are not projecting our negative emotions into other people around us. We are not displacing our anger. We are not projecting our fear into our children in a way that they will now mirror it, and then the child is afraid, the parent is also afraid. So be mindful. Mindfulness is just being sure of yourself, being aware of your environment, being aware of what is going on. So your self-awareness is also being sure of yourself, being sure that you can manage yourself, you understand your individual, your personality, how it's going on around you, and then how you can make sure you don't project it, you don't create false narrative for other people around, so that now from that false narrative people start dealing with you with regards to that false narrative. So you'll be aware of yourself, the environment that you are. Then when you are experiencing a negative emotion, how to regulate is, and you name the emotion. If it's coming, just sit down, be calm within yourself and say, okay, is that fear? Is it worry? Is it anxiety? Is it shame? Why am I feeling ashamed? Why should I feel ashamed? Why should I feel ashamed? Why should I evaluate myself negatively because I have a child with SCD? You must be able to name. And then once emotions come, don't repress and don't suppress them, because it is not that emotions that we repress or suppress has its way of coming back one way or the other. We have a way of releasing. It's like holding tension in your body. It's like bottling up something. So because we have repressed it, we have repressed the fear, we have repressed the worry, we have repressed the shame. By the time it comes out now, it's like a bottled up anger. Then it explodes. Then we won't be able to manage it at time. By that time, no. Once the emotions come, name them. Don't repress. You can communicate. You can self-talk and ask yourself, what do I do about this shame? How do I handle it? Do I need help? Do I need to approach somebody? This fear is coming up again. What should I do? Name it. Communicate with other people. Do positive self-talk. We are still going into that. Name the emotion. Let it pass. Feel it. But try and calm. As you're feeling it, don't erupt suddenly. No, you're not feeling it that way. If you erupt suddenly, if the fear comes, don't suppress. Let it come, let it pass, let it flow. Feel it, but don't be judgmental. That is when you don't repress it. Then the next one is cognitive appraisal. If the fear comes up, or if the shame comes up, if the guilt comes up, guilt especially, ask yourself. Cognitive appraisal means you thinking about the situation again, about the emotion, about the fear, about the anger. Ask yourself, am I supposed to even get angry? Or is there a way I can handle this situation better? Not thinking negatively about it, but reanalyzing it. Not analysis paralysis, that you analyze and then you don't arrive at a solution. Cognitive appraisal is sort of focusing on the problem to look at the coping mechanism that you can use to get around it. So you appraise, you think about it very well. What can be done, not being helpless about it. Just asking yourself, what can be done? What can be done? Appraise the situation. Why am I even getting afraid? Why am I even anxious? I've called junior school and they said he's feeling fine. Then I don't need to be anxious. So it led us to the next step, which is deep breathing. Deep breathing, yes, that one I would try to practicalize it. Deep breathing, meditation, and then relaxation. Deep breathing, if you are going through negative emotion, what you do is you sit upright like this, your feet apart on the floor. Yes. If you can rest your back on the wall or on the chair, you can do that. Then you place your hand, your elbow on your laps. Then your hand will be very close to your knee. Your feet are apart on the floor. If you can practice it as we are doing now, I want you to practice it. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Breathe in, in. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then breathe out. I hope you are practicing it because I can't hold my breath as I'm talking. So you can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. If you are still experiencing the anxiety and the fear, if you are still feeling tensed up in your body, this helps you to release the tensions that is locked up in your body. Then the other way you can do it is by holding yourself like this. If you are free, yes, you can do that. You can do that. Hold yourself like you're embracing yourself. Embrace yourself. Your feet are apart on the floor. Then breathe in. Move to the front. Gradually. Breathe in. I hope you are following. Breathe out. You can do that 4, 5, 6, 10 times. Then relaxation. Just learning to relax. Leaving everything out of your mind, your control. You know there are things that you can control, there are things you can't control. And even some of the things that we can control, at times we need to leave there and just learn how to relax. One of the ways we can relax is by, even once you are through with taking care of the child that is ill, you can go out, even with the child. Once the child is okay, just go out and then to an eatery, go out to space, go out to the garden, take fresh air. You don't even need to go to eatery at times. Within your compound, get up, walk around, stretch your hand, your leg, like sort of doing a little exercise. After taking care of the child, maybe the child is sleeping, don't neglect yourself. Don't just sit down and be thinking, oh, it's going to get better. No, just assure yourself, go out, stretch your hand, your leg, do a little exercise, then relaxation. By deep breathing, now, as you are doing that deep breathing that we did the other time, maybe you are holding yourself or you are putting your hands on your lap, you are breathing in. You can also incorporate meditation into it by saying positive self-talks. I know it's going to be okay. You reassure yourself. You give yourself affirmatory statement. For those that are very religious, you can use scriptures or add it as you are doing your deep breathing. I know I'll be fine. I know my child will be okay. I can handle this. I have the strength. You say positive things about yourself, about your child, and then reassurance. Then something we called co-regulation is getting involved with your child to regulate emotions. Anger, for example. If as a parent you are angry, if you don't learn to manage your own anger, a child could mirror it. And then with the condition they're having, they could go on to develop an angry personality, let me put it that way, or they get angry all the time. And the person that is getting angry all the time, that they can't manage their emotions, that anger emotion especially, that they can't manage their emotions, it tends to how do I put it? It tends to send people, let me put it like that, to send people away. It tends to give an aura that makes people to withdraw from you. So co-regulation is very important. Regulating the emotion of as a parent, and then helping our children to also regulate their emotion, so that once a parent we've learned to manage our own emotions properly, then our child, we can also help them instead of them mirroring the negative emotion or mirroring the dysregulation in us. Once we've been able to regulate our own emotion, then we can help them to also regulate their own emotion, so that they don't become entitled individual, they don't become angry personality. Because for children, especially prepubescent, from age 8, 9, the hallmarks of this age and then the adolescent age is autonomy, is being able to make decisions by themselves. They are being aware that they are separate. Then the hallmark is also building social relationship with people. Teenage age is a moratorium age where they are not yet adults and they are not children. So they should have some form of independence. I'm telling you, if as a parent you have a negative emotion like fear all the time, and the child mirrors this emotion, they may tend to like be withdrawn outside. They may not be able to relate with people very well, or they have that guilt and shame that's been mirrored from parenting to them. So it may affect their relationship as they're going forward. It's they get to age, but those skills, those social skills and behavioral skills that are expected of them at that age, they don't have it. Because what? Because they've not been helped to develop it in the comfort of their house. So when they get out, they find it very difficult to show those skills, and then that to show those socially acceptable skills. And then that is where difficulties come in, and stigma will go on further, because the stigma is already there. And then you are expected to do certain things in the society and you can't do that, then it increases the chances of being stigmatized, even self stigma, social stigma. So we need to co-regulate with our children when they are experiencing or they are showing this negative emotion. Don't spank them, don't shout at them. Call them for a conversation. Ask them why they are doing this, why they are doing that. Then ask them, let them be the just be like a facilitator of the conversation, but let them give why they are doing like that, and then let them give the reason why they are doing it, and then how they feel. Ask them, how do you feel we can handle these situations better. It should not be only the parents talking. I believe it should be a two-way, more of the children, because they are learning to grow up, to go and mingle outside with peers. They are learning to go up. Their autonomy skill is building, their social skill is building. So co-regulation will help us to be able to manage their emotions right in the comfort of their home, so that when they get out, they'll be able to manage it within their among their peers, and then among their teachers, among other people that they meet outside. So The next slide, sorry. How parental emotions can impact a child's well-being. We help them develop better emotional controls and habits. Then helps them to develop pro-social behaviors because we have learned to regulate our own emotions as parents and then we are co-regulating with them. It helps them to develop pro-social behaviors and have better understanding about their health conditions and how to better manage themselves for positive outcomes. Then helps them to build resilience. Resilience is being determined in the face of challenges. As LCD patients, we need to build our resilience. The challenges will always come, the crisis will always come, but we must be able to tell ourselves and know that okay, when these challenges come, I'm able to overcome. Build after inbuilt um assurance that you'll be able to overcome. By that, your self-concept is built, your positive self-concept is built, and you're able to handle your identity because during adolescent age from like age 9, 10, 11, identity concept is also an hallmark of the adolescent and prepubescent age. You know that you are different from this person. You know your own uniqueness. That is when you start knowing that this is what I value, this is what I value. So once parents are able to regulate their own emotions and help children co-regulate, they're able to build proper identity crisis. They know that okay, this is good, this is not bad, this is me. And then somebody else will not be able to
Um, I guess it's a network. So I'm very sure that she will join us soon. Mm. Okay, it's a network. If you have been enjoying this session, can I see your comments? Can you describe that session, that amazing session? Can you describe it? So, describe that session with. I'm here waiting for us. I want to see what you can. Um, what can we describe about the session? The session about parenting self care, parental self care. What have you gained from that session? Okay, she's back.
sorry, my network
Um,
went off. Can you hear me now?
yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, thank you. Sorry for the break in transmission. So we're discussing about building resilience. Resilience is you being determined in the face of opposition. So if we have learned to manage our emotions, we have learned to respond positively, and we have built that positive self-talk into our lives, we are able to build the positive self-concept and properly handle our identity concept. Then it helps us to build and identify right ways of expressing our feelings and then emotion and communicating our needs effectively. Once you're able to regulate your emotions, you are able to communicate. A child that will ask, okay, sit down, instead of throwing anger tantrums, instead of being afraid each time you have crisis, what do you think we can do? How do you express it? Sit down and in communication, we can tell them, okay, this is how you do it next time. Don't shout. A child that is angry all the time, okay, if you want to express yourself, or you feel you're not being heard, and then the hunger comes up, what you do is close your eyes, fold your fists tightly, then release it gradually. By doing that, the tension for the hunger reduces. And then you can do it 2 or 3 times and then speak out. Speak gently so that you express yourself and you can be heard. Don't just jump to the conclusion that, oh, nobody will listen to me. Then it helps establish a better parent child relationship. So we move to this point, the consequences of dysregulation. Now, when emotions are not regulated as they are supposed to be, it becomes very difficult to build and maintain social relationships for our children outside. Apart from the stigma that is already there, and then the emotions are not regulated, they are dysregulated. It's tend to make people to have difficulty in building and maintaining social relationship, especially in adolescents, and poor conflict resolution skills. Somebody is angry with you, and then probably you also respond. No, you don't need to respond in anger. Or somebody abuses you, you don't need to respond. Because if you respond, then your emotion is dysregulated. Then if you have not dysregulated, one of the consequences, another consequence is anger issues and low frustration and distress tolerance. Then negative self-image and poor concept, and then low self-esteem, the avoidance behavior. Because you've not learned to regulate the emotions in the comfort of your home, you tend to avoid people, avoid social gathering, avoid talking to people, you withdraw, and then once you are withdrawing, it will be difficult to maintain social relationship. Then health condition is now perceived. You perceive the health condition as more debilitating than it should. You allow it to define you. You allow it to define your personality, which is not. You are not your health condition. Parents too, because you are passing through turbulence today doesn't mean then it start defining you as the parent of the child that is always sick. No. If we don't regulate our emotions, that is when we start feeling that feelings of rejection or shame. And then it leads us to thinking that my personality is tied to this. My life is tied to this. I can't make anything good out of life because of this. No. If we've learned to regulate our emotions, even as parents, no, you know that your life is not tied to. The illness may be there, caregiving may be stressful, but you know that it is not tied. Your life, entire life is not tied to it to the extent that you won't have time to take care of yourself. Then once emotions are dysregulated, pursuit of one's goals and achieve and how to achieve them can become really very difficult, because in adolescence, that is when you start making up, okay, this is what I want to be. I want to be this when I grow up. I want to go to this school. But when emotions is not regulated, it keeps on reminding you that the illness is there, and that is why you're getting sad. That is why you're getting afraid. And then it goes on. One thing about emotion is they walk in shame. Once fear comes in, worry will follow. Worry will follow, anxiety will follow. Then you start feeling ashamed. Shame will follow. Then you start feeling guilty, even for what you've not done. Then you start feeling that they work in shame. So once lingers, and then you don't learn to manage them, you don't learn to regulate them, they go on and on and on and on like that. So as they go on and on like that, they tend to depress you, and then you start feeling, I don't think I can achieve anything with this life, this illness, and then it finally leads to the entitled mentality and dependency. Then you start feeling, is it because those people are not feeling the pain, that is why they are behaving like that? You tend to have some pessimistic view about others. No, I want to tell you that even as a sensitive patient, you are more healthy than some people out there. Oh. If you don't know, or may have experiences, because you see a lot, everybody in Nigeria, a lot of people have, all over the world, not only in this nation, a lot of people have one illness or the other they are taking care of, but they don't allow it to define them. But because of the nature of our own health, it's it's easy for people to know some way or somehow. So if our emotions is not regulated and we are not careful and it's not expressed, it's not managed in an atmosphere of love and acceptance, it tends to give us that entitled mentality that every time I go down, people must come around, they must do this, they must do that, and then dependency. In adolescence is the time that you take time to know that one day you are, or one day that your child will be on his own, maybe you like it or not. So we must learn to manage our fear, worry, and anxiety about the illness. One, we must learn to help them. How do you manage rejection as you go to school? Did somebody say something that you don't like to school? So how did you to you in school? How did you respond? You must sit down and then help them, guide them. Okay, you will keep on experiencing this. I must not tell you, but this is how you manage it. If another person comes to you and say these things, just tell them, oh, that is your own opinion. And the illness doesn't define me. There are different ways of doing that so that we don't end up, because we are showing our children love, we don't end up overindulging, then they end up becoming entitled, they end up becoming dependency. Fine. There are degrees of dependency. In one way or the other, me, I will depend on somebody. You will depend on somebody. God has not made this world to be that we stand alone. But our dependency must not be, oh, if I don't see this person, life is gone. And this is one of the things that push people into abusive relationship, because the abuser will come and then accept you for who you are so that they can abuse you. But because you have learned to have that kind of fear of rejection, to have allowed it to linger on, you feel that okay, this person is coming accepting me. You don't sit down to consider, this person is accepting me, fine, but do we share the same values? Do we have the same outlook to life? How does it treat other people? When they bring their abuses to you, will you be able to stand up for yourself? So let's go to tips, other tips of parental self-care. We've done the relaxation with I think we did the relaxation with ways of regulating emotion, relaxation, the acceptance, relaxation, the mindfulness, the naming the emotion, cognitive reappraisal, and positive self-talk. So for parental self-care now, the tips: prioritize your well-being. Mm. It is the person that is okay, that is alive, that will take care of your sick child. It is the person that is okay, that is alive emotionally and physically, that will help the child to model proper behavior. So how do you prioritize our well-being? Through proper diet. As you are taking care of the child, take care of yourself. Eat, drink, hydrate very well. It's not only SCD children that people that should hydrate. Everybody should hydrate. Our kidneys are important. Maybe you are A or S or whatever. Hydrate, please. Drink enough water. Your kidneys need them. If you don't need them, please, your kidneys need them. The organs in your body, they need water. Your liver needs, your intestine needs. So hydrate. Then proper diet and sleep hygiene. After you've taken care of the child and he's getting back okay, don't neglect yourself and no sleep and allow the negative emotion, worry, anxiety, shames, and then guilt to deprive you of your sleep. Sleep hygiene is very important. We've talked about relaxation and self-compassion, showing yourself the kindness that you show to other people. Hey, sis, can I get 5,000 from there? They'll take that 5,000 to shawarma stand and they'll hit you. That you gave the 5,000, have you shown yourself self-compassion? It's not only about shawarma or that you shouldn't give out to people. Have time for relaxation. Go by, if you can't go with your family, go by yourself. Take good care of yourself. Some people do feel guilty for taking care of themselves. Yes, it's possible. But take good care of yourself. Go out, go to nature, relax with people. It may not take you like more than 1 hour or 2 hours. Come back home. At that time, you've forgotten about the cares and worries, and it will help you a lot. Then practice gratitude. Be grateful. Gratitude is very important. Even in that challenges that you are facing, practice gratitude and take each day newly as a come. Don't say because yesterday we were in the hospital and then subconsciously you've already planned that today is going to be in the hospital. No, even when you are in the hospital, be mindful, like we discussed about mindfulness. Be mindful, have positive self-talks. You may not say it out, you may not be able to hold yourself in public first like this and breathing. You can still do this. If somebody asks, oh, you're thinking, no, I'm just trying to relax. Take each day newsly, then find support to avoid physical and emotional and mental overload. Support groups like the one that organized this parenting conference. Then you find people that have been through what you are going through, that are still going through what you are going through. They will discuss how they've gone about it, and then a burden shared is half solved. But with that, you'll be able to take off the burden from your mind, and then your mind, your emotion is free. Don't overload yourself. Find support, tangible support, information support, social support. A sister might come around, maybe a relative or a friend. Oh, let me stay with you for a while. Or you call somebody that you can know, stay with this child for a while. Go home and relax, sleep, take your bath, eat very well. Things like that. So that you take care of yourself. So you don't look older than you are supposed to look. Take care of yourself. Then balance family dynamics. This is very important for us. Family dynamics, to avoid the ways that relationships are built in families. Let me just put it that, to avoid things like glass child syndrome, sibling rivalry. It is possible that as you are taking care of the child that is ill, others will feel like it is only when Junior is ill that mommy will always be giving him attention. She doesn't give us attention. They tend to be like become not uninvolved. They tend to withdraw from the parent and say, Shebi, it's only Junior you are buying ice cream for. They don't know why you are buying the ice cream. So we must manage family dynamics in a way that it doesn't create sibling rivalry among our children. It doesn't create glass door, a child that is withdrawn and uninvolved. That's him for sick. Shebi is the one. No, you must balance it very well, because once family dynamics is not balanced, it will give you, your emotions will always be up. To be on a roller coaster, it will give you concerns. Then finally, seek professional help. If you know you can't handle these things alone, feelings of guilt and shame. Some people have that guilt and shame deep seated. Rejection, self rejection. Some people can't handle stigmas. If you know you tried on your own and then you can't handle by yourself, seek professional help. Speak with someone and you will get help. By with that, a burden discussed, shared is half solved. So I don't know if anybody has questions or you want me to say one thing or the other. I've come to the end of what I have written here. Thank you. Any questions? Hello? Questions? Questions?
That was a beautiful session, a very beautiful session. Please, if you have questions, drop your question so that our guest speaker can attend to it immediately. So describe this session in one word. Describe it. What did you learn? What is that thing that you are taking home from this important session? Okay. I think it's a very understanding good session. There is nobody is dropping question now. So thank you so much, Mrs. Elizabeth. Thank you for that wonderful session. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the honor. Thank you for amazing session with us. It's I'm extremely happy listening to you, taking it step by step, explaining everything. So I'm very sure that our parents here are actually taking a lot of session in, and then they are going to improve from now. So thank you so much, and God bless you. So we are very close. We are very close to ending the conference. Do you have one last word for us, ma'am? Any last word before we round up this session?
Um, I'm very glad for the opportunity. And if there are other questions, even after, you can always pass it on to me, then I'll answer them. So I want to encourage her. Don't let the illness define you as a parent. Don't let the illness define your child. Don't allow the society to tag you, to label you as a parent of. Then they see you that in fact they want to invite people to parties, they'll tell themselves, no, don't invite her to party because that child will not allow. No, we should learn to take care of ourselves as parents, learn to relax, learn to do things that will make us also feel good, to relax, maintain proper sleep hygiene and diet. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. So, in case you have any question, you can always send a private message to me, and I'm going to send to her, and then we are going to get back to you. That should be within the next maybe 24 hours. So, thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
So that was an amazing session, and I think we have just one lecture to go, and this is going to be the end of Sickle Cell Parenting Conference 2024 till next year. And I'm very excited because we have different speakers from different expertise, and everything they have teach us, everything they have taught us, they are actually what we need in our parenting journey. When we pick that team, he said at parenting a child with a purpose. So I'm going to be the last speaker for today, and then I just need to spend let's say 20 minutes or so, or maybe 20 minutes, and then we are going to come to the end of parenting Sickle Cell Parenting Conference 2024. If you can hear me, please let me see in the comment sections. Write loud and clear. Are you excited about my session? If you said yes, if you are very excited to have me, say yes in the comment section. So, my topic is actually something simple. My topic is about our team parenting a child with a purpose. So every time we talk about parenting a child with sickle cell, how do you really parent a child with sickle cell? And you must have a purpose, because everything we do in this life, there must be a purpose. Without a purpose, we get lost. And that's one of the things, I've worked with over 200 parents that have children with sickle cell. And I can tell you, there are so many things that I've understand with parents who have children with sickle cell. One of it is that we just want to raise a child to survive. The only thing we just want to focus is about that child. As long as the child does not fall sick, just live. That's the only way. And then that puts our children at the place where they are surviving instead of thriving. And as somebody who lives with sickle cell myself, it's never a good place to be. It's never a good place to be, because most times we have parents. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you for dropping that session. I've been feeling guilty before this session, but I feel, well, with this, I feel relaxed. Yes, you have to let go of that guilt. Thank you so much for that. Um, Thank you so much for that comment. So now my topic is about parenting with a purpose. Like I said, I've worked with over 200 parents that have children with sickle cell, even more than that. And every time in my work as a genetic counselor, as a sickle cell coach, as a parent advocate, I'm an advocate for parenting with intention. I always have with this parent, they just want the children to survive. And that thing is a very bad place to be, because everything the child wants to do outside of sickle cell, they are being met with negative answer. You can't do this. You can't do this. You cannot do this. That is not for people like you. That's not for people in your condition. And before you know it, the child decided to pick an identity beyond who God created them to be. Pick an identity that is not the identity of that sickle cell. They don't see themselves beyond what sickle cell. And every day, I'm dealing with teenagers with that identity. I'm dealing with adults living with sickle cell with that identity. We are dealing with it, and sometimes it can be very, very exhausting, because it's not easy when you are changing an adult mindset. It's not an easy thing to do. So it's something that, so it's something that we need to actually put a purpose to it. So now when we talk about parenting purpose, we are telling you to actually parent a child with sickle cell and parent them in a way that transforms that child beyond just surviving. So we just don't want our sickle cell warriors to just live. We want them to live and thrive. That's the purpose. So as you are raising, immediately you get this diagnosis, I know you are lost, you are guilty, you feel tired, everything. But immediately with that diagnosis, you want you to have a purpose in mind. That this child that I have, that is living with sickle cell, is going to live and thrive. It's not just about surviving alone. No, we just don't want them to survive. We want them to survive, and we want them to drive. So I'm going to share a story, a particular story for us. And I think I'm going to share my own personal story. You see, when I was young in the secondary, when I finished my secondary school, I was supposed to go in and study medicine. And we're having a discussion with my doctor, and my medical doctor said, "Oh, Kemi, you will not be able to study medicine. That is not for you. It's not for people like you, because you can't take over it." And because of that, my parents didn't allow me to, in fact, I was not allowed to feel my damn myself, because I can be very, very strong willed. So my parents actually gave my brothers money to get that jam form, and at the same time they are the one that fill in whatever I want to study. It's not my choice. Yes, it was fine. I'm doing well after that. It's a long time ago. I'm doing well. But then when I brought that in, when I started, because my sickle cell advocacy journey, I was able to understand how that thing affected me. It affected my self-esteem, it affected my confidence, it affected the way I saw myself. I redefined myself. So, and then I started working with people. I think I started working with people in 2016. And right now, I have worked with people living with sickle cell who are medical doctors, who are nurses, who are health educators, who are thriving, people who have done engineering course, people who are already working and they are doing well. And that is one of my testimony, because we are not just focusing on your health alone. We want to focus on the other aspect of your life. And that's exactly what it means for parenting with a purpose. So when I said that parenting with a purpose, what does that mean? Parenting with a purpose means raising your child to live a fulfilled life, a life filled with meaning, a life filled with joy, a life filled with independence despite living with sickle cell. So despite the fact that they are living with sickle cell, we are raising children that thrive beyond sickle cell. So sickle cell is not them. They are not sickle cell. I live with sickle cell and I'm not like, and I'm not defined by my sickle cell. It's going to be very, very unfortunate for somebody to look at me like this and said, "Oh, Kemi, you're just a sickle." No, I am way beyond sickle cell. I am way bigger than sickle cell. Yes, I am way bigger than sickle cell. So, what exactly do we want to achieve with when you parent with purpose? We want you to set a vision for your child. That child that live with sickle cell, have a positive vision for that child. What kind of life do you want them to live? How do you want them to be in the society? How do you want the society to see them? How do you even want them to see? What do you want them to feel about themselves? What do you want them to see? Do you want them to look at themselves and feel like, "Oh, I am nobody. I am unfortunate. I am negative." Or no, that's not what we are doing here. We want them to look at themselves and say that I am this person. I am successful. I am great. I am handsome. I am beautiful. I am. They are a lot of things in one person beyond sickle cell. So that sickle cell doesn't define them, doesn't define their identity, doesn't define whatever they can be. We also want them to focus on their strength, because now I've worked with a lot of sickle cell warriors parents, and we often neglect the strength of our children. So you see parents coming to me, "Oh, my child is very good with mathematics, and my child said he wants to go and study accounting, but I believe that he cannot study accounting because accounting is not for people like him." And I'm asking question, so what subject do you want that child to study? And the child is looking at me and they were like, "Oh, but that child is good in mathematics," like you said. Yes. Accounting is a place of strength. Yes. So what happened? Why is that child not operating in that position of their strength? And they're like, "Oh, we thought." No, people that have strength, when you operate in a place of your strength, it's easier for you. So sometimes when we change their direction, we are taking them from the place of their strength, and we are taking them to a place where they struggle. It's just like when you are picking up a fish and you are putting the fish, you are bringing the fish from water and you are dropping it on the floor, on the land. The child will, the fish will continue to struggle. So now, what are we doing? We have to focus on their strength. I have sickle cell warriors who are doing extremely well. Someone who is playing football and reach the height is because that person was allowed to operate in the area of strength. So even your child live with sickle cell, there's always a place of their strength. You have to look for that area of, and you allow them to maximize that strength. If your child is good with mathematics, oh, that is good. They can always do something about it. If your child is good with public speaking, why? That's a very good thing that we can build on. If your child is very good with drawing, oh, it's amazing. If your child is good with singing, it's amazing. So we don't want you to believe that because they live with sickle cell, their strength means nothing. No, we want you to see them beyond that sickness, that condition, and focus more on what? On their strength. Hobbies, what are those hobbies that they have strength in? What are those academics that are they very strong with academics? What exactly do they have? Creativities, social skills. We need to build it. That is exactly when you are raising a child with purpose. So, and then we want to talk when we are raising a child with purpose. I am very glad that Audrey came in and said something about independence. We want to teach your child, because one of the reasons that gives parents a lot of concern is because we are always concerned that the child cannot take care of themselves. Oh, if my child travel to this place, my child will not be able to. So we have children that even when they are 30 years, 25 years of age, we can't allow them to travel alone. We can't allow them to make decisions on their own because we have this fear. We are afraid. So now, what exactly do we do? The first thing what things that we need to do when we are raising a child with a purpose is, number one, resilience starts with empowerment. A child, if you want to teach any child about independence, the child must be empowered. How are we empowering these children? We must teach the child to understand their condition. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm back. Back. Yes. So we must teach child. We must teach our child to understand their condition in age appropriate way. Many times I'm dealing with parents that doesn't want their child to live to know that they live with sickle cell, and I'm asking why. Because most times we are struggling. We're struggling to tell the child you must not go. Maybe a child that have a trigger with cold, and we are telling the child you must cover up like this. But everybody are not well covered like that, and the child want to be like every other person. Yes, it's a normal thing. Every child want to be normal. Every child they want. See, medication is not ice cream. So at some point in time, they are tired. They don't want to take that medications. You must give them a reason why they are taking that medication. Why are they the only one taking medication in the whole house? You must be able to let them understand. You must empower them in a way that they can understand. You must let them understand about sickle cell in a way that is empowering, not in a way that make them to see themselves lesser. No, you must be able to empower them, to raise them, to let them understand that, oh, you live with sickle cell and this is what sickle cell is. Age appropriate. While you will talk to a child in primary school, is different from how you are going to talk to a child in secondary school. It's also going to be different how you are going to talk to a child in university. So every time we are trying to empower this child, we must empower them in an age appropriate way. Number two, we must develop them, because remember that we are raising a child with a purpose. We must develop them with self advocacy skill. When you are not there, can they speak up? Can they describe how they're feeling? Can they take ownership of their management, even though when you're not around? Are they able to talk about hydration? Are they able to drink their water? Are they able to take their medications? Are they able to take rest? Are they able to say no when it's not convenient for them? This is about raising a child with a purpose. So when you have a child that lives with sickle cell, you want to raise them with a purpose. You want to empower them. You want independent. When you raise a child with purpose, a child that are the only raise are it's independent. Something they're not supposed to know, but independent to protect this. Even though when the child, it's not for people like don't, don't, don't. You can't more than a at a can you hear me? I think I'm back. So sorry for breaking transmission. So I talked about allowing age appropriate independence. Yes, for someone like me, at a point in time you keep hearing you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that, and every time you get tired with that. So we can allow our children age appropriate housework. What is that? What can they do? Can they wear, can they wash plates? If plate is too, is it possible for them to sweep? You just give them 8 appropriate chores, and this thing is going to help them in the long run because you are building them for independence. When you are not there, they are able to cater for themselves. You allow them to make decision. How do they make decision? Whatever activities to join, the clothes to wear. Sometimes parents said, oh, the weather is cold, my child is not doing this, my child is not, and I'm asking, okay, please, can you send a picture of what you want that child to wear? Because we are dealing with different ages, teenagers, adolescents, and then you are sending a picture and I'm looking at it. No, even me, I will not wear that clothes because the child is season doesn't mean that you want to wear green cardigan, you want to wear purple trouser, you want to wear orange socks, all because there's code. They are not going to follow you out there like that. There's a way you can even dress them stylishly. You can allow them to bring in their fashion sense into it. The goal is for them to keep warm. So once we have that goal in mind, so you can work with it. You can allow them to make decision. Allow them to combine their colors. Allow them to rock their clothes the way they want to rock it. When you give them opportunity to make decision, you allow them to decide for themselves. Even though when they are outside, even though when they have prayer, when there is prayer, they're asking them, oh, why are you always covering up? Why are you always? They are able to give appropriate answer because you allow them to be able to make decision. You want to teach them self-care routines, how to manage sickle cell effectively, even though where you are not there. So when they have crisis, what exactly can they do on their own? Let's say they are in school and then they have crisis with the and or do they need you to talk to them? Do they need you to be their mouthpiece? Do they need you to actually explain what is doing there? You see, everything is about empowerment. If you empower them, they will be able to do more. If you empower them to take care of themselves, they will do well in taking care of themselves. So we must put this involved. And then we must also teach them, because this is about intentional parenting. A child that lives with sickle cell, we want to undo setback positively. When you are living with sickle cell, some things happened and it causes step back. Let's say, for example, the child is not able to do their promotion examination. The child missed one of a paper in WAEC. The child is not able to go and do JAMB at the right time. For somebody like me, I remember when I wanted to do my master's degree then in 2016. I was not able to write I wrote the first test, I passed. I wrote the second exam, I passed. The last one, I was not able to attend it because I felt sick. But how did I undo that? Undo that setback? How did I undo that negative occurrence? So life comes with challenges. You must let them see it. Teach them how to see setback as something that is temporary. Yes, I've done a lot of more courses. I've done a lot of professional courses because I've done so well now. I've done so many courses that I don't even remember that I once failed my master's. So we must allow them to see that some to come up with some things. There are some things that will affect them. There are to catch up with because of sickle cell, because they are sick or because they have crisis suddenly. So we must teach them how to handle that setback in a positive way. We must teach them how to see it as a temporary setback. It's not permanent. It's not doesn't that thing doesn't define them because you were not able to write your promotion. That doesn't make you a failure. So we must imbibe it, and then we want to teach them about pain. Pain is part of the journey, but it doesn't define their destination. Yes, so it means that they can have pain. Crisis can occur, but that crisis doesn't define them. But they must also be aware that Pain is part of the journey. So when some people ask me, oh Kemi, how are you able to do all this with sickle cell? I'm asking you, I don't think about sickle cell. Sickle cell is part of it. It's part of my journey, but that is not the whole journey. So if I'm telling myself that, oh Kemi, I have to be in Abuja today, my mind is, what exactly am I supposed to do? I prepare for emergency, I prepare for crisis, I prepare for everything, and then I take my bag and I'm going. It's not my, I don't think, I tell people crisis is part of the journey. When if the crisis comes, we take care of it. And that's the truth. When crisis comes, we take care of that crisis. And then we do well. So it's not me that I want to travel out of the country. I'm going for a particular conference out of the country, and then because of sickle cell, I'm thinking, like, oh, what if I go have crisis? And then because of that, I stop my journey. No, pain is part of the journey. It doesn't define the destination. So even though if I'm outside the country and I have pain, we deal with the pain. So now what has helped me to deal with the pain is because of knowledge, is because I've been empowered, is because I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to do in that time. And that's why it's not a setback for me. So it can happen. And then most times I've perfected the how to prevent sickle cell crisis. So it means that I've stayed, I can say, a long time without even having crisis. Why? I am very, very active. So it's also one of the things that I do in my work with parents with sickle cell. Sometimes we teach parents how to prevent sickle cell crisis and manage pain effectively. So it is, a lot of people joined the one we did this year, and it was amazing. There's a lot of testimonial. You learn how to prevent your child from crisis. So we walk you through it. We tell you, we take your hand, we hold your hand, we teach you everything you need to know about sickle cell. Sickle cell is complicated, yes. At the same time, sickle cell is also something that affects individual. So while we are working with you in that course, whatever we want to do is that we want to work with you general. We also want to work with you individually. So you have to know what sickle cell is and tailor it to how it affects your child, because the way sickle cell is affecting me is different from the way sickle cell affects another person. And that is also one of the things we must know. You must provide strategies to cope with pain crisis, missed school days, or emotional moments. I love the way Miss Elizabeth actually handled that emotional aspect, because when we know how to regulate our own emotion, we can also help our children to regulate their emotion, because sickle cell comes with a lot of emotional moments. So sometimes they are down because they were not able to go for their graduation because they're sick. So you must learn how to help them to regulate those emotions. And now, nurturing a positive identity beyond sickle cell. Yes, it's one of the things we want to learn when we parent with a purpose. Your child is not their condition. When we are talking about sickle cell, really, please stop it. People in your condition, people that have your condition, it is not nice. You are giving that child an identity of sickle cell. You are making that child not to see beyond sickle cell. We don't want to do that. That's not what we're doing here. Your child is not their condition. Your child is not their sickle cell. Your child is way more beyond sickle cell. And you must let them know this. You must imbibe it in your phrase, how you talk to them, how you have communications with them. You don't want to say people like you cannot do that. No, you don't want to keep saying that. It's not for people like you. If people in your condition, no. You want to see them beyond. They are first woman before sickle cell. They are first woman before sickle cell. Not that. They are woman first before sickle cell. So sickle cell doesn't define the totality of your child. And one of the things you must do is, you as a parent, if you want your child to be intentional, if you want your child to see themselves beyond sickle cell, is the same way you talk to them, your language, how you see their sickle cell, how you see them. That is exactly what they are going to imbibe. Emphasize your child personality, strength, and dreams. See beyond their sickle cell. See somebody that is handsome. See somebody that is intelligent. See somebody that is the future president of this country. See them way beyond their sickle cell. Even though when they are sick, remind them of who they are. Remind them of that their identity that is greater than sickle cell. Remind them of that their identity that is more than sickle cell. You want to promote their self-worth and confidence. Sometimes when you're dealing with sickle cell, it affects our self-worth. It affects our confidence. People are going to attack that child. They are going to ask, why are you this bold? You that you are living with sickle cell, a sickler, why are you bold? Why are you confident? They want to attack it. But you as a parent, you must ensure that you build their confidence. You must ensure that you build their self-worth. They see themselves as somebody great. They see themselves, see, self-worth is something you build from inside. And the first place we build self-worth in our child is the home, is not outside. They are going to face a lot of stigma outside. Whatever you've said, whatever you do, whatever you tell them at home is what they are going to take and run with it. So if you're building them, that's why we tell you, don't talk down on them. Don't make sickle cell their identity. Let them see way beyond sickle cell. Support their education and fusion ambition. Let them dream big. Sickle cell don't stop them from drinking big, from dreaming big. Yes, there's this person. I think it was 2000 and it was 2019 or 2017. There's a woman who live with sickle cell that run for the presidential race in Nigeria. This Nigeria that we are. Somebody living with sickle cell, a woman, decided to want to go. Yes, contest for the position of a presidential race. That is somebody that lives with sickle cell. So if that person can do it, it means that your child can do it. So you want to encourage them. You want to encourage them. You want them to dream big. You want them to have a future. You want to support their education. Celebrate their small win. Yes, sickle cell comes with a lot of problems. So you want to celebrate them. When they complete a school term, celebrate it. When they follow their treatment plan, celebrate them. When they stay strong during an health challenge, celebrate them. You want to celebrate them without getting over, without indulging them. No, you want to celebration doesn't have that you are buying things, you are giving. No, you can celebrate them in a wrong way. Even the way they are on hospital bed and they're thinking, you can write a note. Dear Tolu, I understand that this is overwhelming for you, but I am always here with you. I understand that you just want to write them a love letter. You want to give them to them on that hospital bed. Those are the way you can build a self-worth. Those are the way you can let them see themselves beyond sickle cell. So what is your parent's role? What is your role as a parent when you are raising a child with purpose? Yes. The first thing is that you parents, you are the first teacher your child has. Majority of what your child is going to pick up, they are going to pick it up from you. So you are your child teacher, first teacher. When I say first teacher, you are your child first teacher. So the children will look up to you for guidance. So whatever you say them that they are, that's what they will be. If you say that they are their sickle cell, they will always be their sickle cell. They will always see that sickle cell as their identity. They will always see sickle cell is the reason why they cannot be successful. They will always see sickle cell as a big deal. If you make sickle cell not a big deal, they will always see sickle cell as not a big deal. You have the right to shape their identity. You have the right to mold them. You have the right to describe, to build them into something you want them to be. You have the right to make them to become extremely successful. You have the right to make them thrive. So the children, you are the first teacher of your children. Show resilience in the way how you face your challenges. Your actions teach them how to navigate their own. So when Miss Elizabeth was talking, the way you regulate your emotions is the same way your child will regulate their emotions. If you are in control of your outbursts, the way you act when they are in crisis is the same way they are going to act when they are in crisis. So if you are always all over the place during their crisis, the same way is what they are going to do when they are in crisis. You want to build a support network, please. It's very, very important. Build a support network. You need somebody to help you in the journey. You need to talk to people like us. You need us in part of your journey. You need to know somebody that understands the professional aspect, somebody that understands the lived experience, somebody that understands what it takes to manage a child with sickle cell. You need them to have to work with the doctors, you need to work with teachers, you need to work with counselors, advocacy group, you need to work with a lot of people. Support group is very important. Teaching purposeful by living by example. So even though in the midst of that crisis, show gratitude, show responsibility, shows emotional connection, make them to feel among part of the set the tone, be intentional in everything we do. Whatever we do, be intentional about it. So and you know there's something I want us to know, that you can raise a child that live with sickle cell and at the same time thrive. People like us are living with sickle cell and we are thriving, and you can also do the same thing. When people say that there's no manual for this, I said no, because it's something I have done. We have worked with a lot of parents, and I can tell you there is a manual on how to raise a child with sickle cell. And I want you to call with these 3 points. You must see your is not their identity. See your child beyond sickle cell. Sickle cell is not their identity. Empower resilience and independence. It's going to take them far. Encourage resilience and independency. It's going to take them far. Nurture a positive and a purposeful identity. That child is way beyond sickle cell. So allow them to have a positive mindset, even though when they're going through challenges. Allow them to also have a purposeful identity. So you have the power to help your child to live a purposeful life. You have the power to help your child to live a fulfilling life. You have the power to help your child to thrive despite living with sickle cell. With love and patience, intentional parent is something we can achieve. And that makes me to the what is it? To the end of my lecture. Like I said, I don't want us to wait. And this is the end of Sickle Cell Parenting Conference 2024. This is the end of Sickle Cell Parenting Conference, and I said something about a course. Yes, I have this program that I help parents to help them manage sickle cell crisis. We all know that one of the things that destroys the distraught lives of people living with sickle cell is crisis. Crisis is something that it occurs. It can come, it can scatter your day, it can affect you. But when people say that there is no, crisis just come on without knowing, I tell people that there is no how. Crisis just don't come. No, there's always a sign. There's always something about crisis. There's always something before crisis occur. If only you know how to understand it. And people have crisis differently. So the way I am getting affected with crisis is different from the way another person is getting crisis. And a different type of crisis. So because your child is not having a bone pain, doesn't mean that child is not having crisis. So and how this crisis affect every other aspect of their life, their functions, their health in generality, and how can we prevent this sickle cell crisis? So I think in the next few days we will be pushing out information about that particular because there are people who have worked with us this year and they have amazing testimonies. We have people who have not been to the hospital for the last 6 months, and then we are teaching you what is professional. We are teaching you exactly what to do, how to do it, a tailored approach to individual. So it's not that, oh, this one cannot work on it. No, it will work for you because we are going to work together with you by knowing your child. So we are not just working with a broad knowledge. We are working with a tailored approach for individual. So if you really want to have question about that, you can always send me a message. You can always drop the message on on our group, and then I will attend to it. And thank you so much for joining this year Sickle Cell Parenting Conference. It's so wonderful to have every one of us here. It's so wonderful for us to learn. It's been 2 days of Power Pack Conference, 2 days full of amazing lectures, 2 days full of knowledge, empowerment, and I'm so happy that we stayed to the end. I'm so happy that we stayed to the end. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you. See you again. See you in Sickle Cell Parenting Conference 2025. By God's grace, 2025. So thank you so much. If you conference with one word. What exactly have you learned in these 2 days? What have what exactly has improved? How has your knowledge improved about sickle cell? Is this something that you benefited from? Please drop in the comment section. Let me see. At 24 before we say the final bye-bye. So let me see your comment. I want to see what is throughout this conference. What is that thing that you've learned? What is that thing that is going to improve going now just because you attend this conference? Drop it in the comment section and let me see. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm going to say bye-bye and see you in our next year's Sickle Cell Parenting Conference. Bye.